The 2024 presidential election is officially finished, with former President Trump beating Vice President Kamala Harris to become the next president of the United States. We're going to talk about how the markets reacted to this news, where we're going to speculate the markets are going to be going over Trump's new presidency, how did the global stage react to this, as well as some other cryptocurrency news. So make sure you guys tune in all the way to the end of the video to find out all the details. Hey guys, Ryan with Big Dog Investing. Thank you guys for tuning in to my channel. If you guys could do a couple of things for me, if you guys go in and like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you guys have not done so already, click the bell notification down below so YouTube can send you guys notifications whenever I release videos. Watch my videos all the way to the end. If you guys could share my videos and share my channel with anyone. I'm trying to grow my channel as much as I can. I definitely need your guys' help in doing so. Getting started. We're going to look at the election results. Former President Trump right now is at 301 electoral college votes. We're still waiting on Arizona. They're the last one, and this is the state that I live in. For them to officially come out with their count, I don't understand how they haven't officially reported what's going on yet. They have 83% of the votes being reported. They did a recount supposedly starting on Friday is what they said that they were going to do. And they said up until Wednesday of next week is officially when they can call the election. So we'll see what happens. But former President Trump did win because he did reach the 270 electoral college votes needed to become the next president. Vice President Harris only got 226. So right now we have Republicans right now controlling the presidency. The Senate is also controlled by the Republican Party as well. Currently has 53 seats. We'll see what happens. There's still, again, one more, which is Arizona, needs to get called before we can officially figure out what the entire vote count is. So they're going to be at 54, stay at 53, and the Dems are going to either stay at 46 or go up to 47. So Republicans control the presidency and the Senate. We're still waiting on a couple of states to come out with the House votes, but right now the House is leaning Republican. They need 6 more House seats to officially control the presidency, the Senate, and the House. So we'll see what happens with that, but again, we still need to see Washington, Arizona, California still need to come up with their votes, and we'll see what happens with that. But getting started with our cryptocurrency, we'll see where the market cap is at currently. So the market cap for all cryptocurrency right now is $2.6 trillion. This is a 1.24% increase on the day today. So we're doing really well in cryptocurrency, and in my opinion, the rest of the markets are doing well also. Bitcoin right now is currently up $76,459. Ethereum broke $3,000, currently up $3,078. And XRP right now is at 55.26 cents. So Bitcoin right now is currently up 10% on the day, or on the 7 day, sorry, also on the week. Ethereum is up 23% and XRP is only up 8%. Dogecoin did very well, and this is because Elon Musk is a fan of Dogecoin, and since former President Trump did win, there is talks that Elon is going to take a cabinet position, so 35% there is doing pretty good. And then Solana, nothing really on the day, but currently up roughly about 19% on the week as well. So overall doing really well. If we look at our crypto bubbles, on the day, the majority of our cryptocurrencies are doing very well. We have a couple in the negative like Crow, Popcat, Polygon, Matic. But on the week, almost all are up except Popcat, HTX, and then Tron. But overall, like GOAT, 73.4%. Nero, currently 61%. SUI is one of the cryptocurrencies that I wanted to invest in, and I actually did not do that. I was going to buy in at like 83 cents. Didn't have the funds to go out and get it right away, and then now currently trading at $2.58, so doing very well. Yeah, so if I got in at like 80 cents, I was going to get in roughly about right here. And then would have been up 3 times my money. So, obviously, there's gains and losses, and then as well as, the ones that you just can't buy, and then the what if scenarios, what could have been. So overall, cryptocurrency is doing really well. In my opinion, I see a strong future. Again, nothing I say in this video should be considered financial advice, but I see a strong future for cryptocurrency over the next couple of years. Remember, we always have the drop-off every 4 years, so be careful of that. So what I mean by the drop-off, we'll just show you really quick. So if we look at the all charts, this happens after, each election. So you have the 2012 election, goes up and then drops. So we were at like $1,000 and then, drops down to 400. So we'll see there. Then you had the 2016 election. It goes up the next year. So we saw Bitcoin rise up to 19,000. And then after the year after the presidency, after 2025 and 2026, we should see a massive drop off. Again, nothing I say in this video should be financial advice, but time and time again, it happens, and the charts show it. So we were at 20,000, then went to 3,700 roughly, maybe a little lower. And then we had the 2020 election. We did pretty well 2021. And then 2022, we had a massive drop. So what we went up to our previous high, which was 64,000, and then dropped down to $15,000 per coin. So obviously we have these drops. We're in 2024, 2025. Again, we should see a high and then a massive drop in 2026. So obviously use that if you guys are going to make any financial decisions. Make sure you guys do your own independent research, and nothing, again, anyone should say should be considered financial advice. But we'll see what happens with this, so don't get too greedy. Don't think, oh, I'm up, and then just keep on holding, because what goes up always comes down. It's come back. Stock market does it as well. It goes up, goes down, then goes back up. So if you're holding long term, it can happen. But how we saw some news happen here in the United States. So Donald Trump Jr., so former President Trump's son, says it took about 12 hours after my father's election for him to win for Hamas to call for peace. Our real Donald Trump isn't even president yet, and he's already getting it done. Spectacular. So the war could officially end. We'll see what happens with this, but they're trying to call an immediate ceasefire. They don't want anything to do with former President Trump, so that is a great positive in my opinion, especially since he's not even the president yet. But it just shows, we're having all of this stuff and all this influence happen, and he's not even president yet, but they lasted and allowed this to happen for however many years for the wars to go on. But as soon as Trump becomes the president of the United States, they're already like, hey, we're good. We don't want to mess with this. Susie Wiles, she's going to become the first woman as the chief of staff for former President Trump. So everyone says he's a misogynist. He's having a woman, the first woman to ever be his chief of staff. So I think that is great news. New York just announced that they are going to be ending their food vouchers for the migrants. So there's a bunch of people speculating that they're doing this because they lost the election and they're no longer trying to pander to get votes. In my opinion, this should have never been a huge thing, in my opinion, but obviously it's ending right after he wins. Is it just a coincidence? And then Trump is going to push for term limits for members of Congress. So we're not going to see the likes of Nancy Pelosi in office for 20, 30 years. We're not going to see Elizabeth Warren in office for however long she's been in, as well as Bernie Sanders. All of these people are in Congress for however long, and they started to make millions and millions and millions of dollars, yet their salary is like $140-something thousand per year. So they're making all of this money on the outside or through the stock market. We had Nancy Pelosi say that members of Congress shouldn't be allowed to not trade stocks because it's a free market, but she has the inside knowledge. So people even follow her trading because it's all public information. So they follow her trading patterns and make money because she's making millions and millions of dollars. The stock market did very well. Over $1.28 trillion was added to the U.S. stock market today. So this was the day after former President Trump, or the day of former President Trump winning the election. So he ended up getting called at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, 3:30 my time. So I was up. I waited up for him to get called the next president of the United States. But that next day, $1.8 trillion or $1.28 trillion was added to the stock market, and over $200 billion was added to the cryptocurrency market that day. Absolutely phenomenal for the markets. Obviously, investors have a lot more confidence in former President Trump being the next president than they did Vice President Harris. Now, Elon Musk jokes and they say red light helps you sleep better. And this is just a map. Red's for Republican and blue is for Democrat. So obviously, red's sleeping better. A lot of us are more at peace, more at ease. And we voted this way strictly for a better economy, as well as better border security and protections for the global stage. We saw Bitcoin. So Bitwise CIO says 4.8 billion, says that we're entering the golden age of crypto. We will see a strong bull market for years to come. This video will be down in the comments below. Everything that I talk about, I link in the comments. Mainly so for sources, so you guys can view them whenever you want to, as well as I'm trying to reference everyone to give them all credit for what they're doing. And then we see Robert F. Kennedy Jr. says the FDA's war on public health is about to end. This includes aggressive suppression of pseudolex, peptides, stem cells, raw milk, hyperbaric therapies, chelating compounds, where the list goes on. But obviously he's going to go after big pharma as well. And we're seeing this because he wants to become the next health person in the White House. haven't had anyone like this. We're having a big crisis here in the United States for public health. We don't have good foods for us to eat. The FDA allows all of these harsh chemicals like Red 40 into a lot of our foods that the European Union has banned, that Canada has banned. The amount of sugar that is added to all of our foods, okay, is absolutely horrible, and it's destroying our bodies. There's a reason why the United States is falling further and further behind in the average life expectancy to other countries. It's because our nutritional value is not great. So hopefully Robert F. Kennedy Jr. can help that. In my opinion, I think he'll do a good job. Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO over at Ripple, says, "At Real Donald Trump, congratulations. Some fodder for your first 100-day checklist to get the things moving forward. Number one, fire Gary Gensler day one, no delays. In his place, appoint Giancarlo, Brooks, or Gallagher. They'd be massive upgrades in rebuilding the rule of law and reputation at the SEC. I think Hester Pierce would also be a great person as well to add to the chief to the SEC chair. We'll see what happens. She's one of the chairs at the SEC, but she's not the actual chair that heads the entire SEC. Host a family dinner and get the R's and D's, so the Republicans and Democrats, moving the digital asset market structure bill forward in the Senate. And last but not least, can we get some clarity similar to XRP, Bitcoin, and Ethereum is not a security, right? With an exclamation point and a question mark. Completely agree with this. We need better clarity in the markets, and getting some of this in the Senate would be absolutely phenomenal in my opinion. Stuart Alderati also wants to congratulate both campaigns for their hard-fought race and for invigorating the democratic process. So everyone going out to vote freely and fairly. Congratulations to the real Donald Trump. You took the time to listen to Ripple's story when we met in San Francisco this summer. You prioritized crypto as key policy issue. Now let's move swiftly to end the regulation by enforcement approach we've endeavored in recent years and position the U.S. as a crypto capital of the world. Completely agree with this. I think that that would actually be very beneficial, not only for the cryptocurrency industry, but for the U.S. global financial markets as well. Jeremy Hogan, if you guys don't know who he is, he's one of the lawyers on YouTube and TikTok, but he's actually a practicing lawyer as well. He's followed the Ripple versus the SEC case, and if you guys have watched any of his videos, you guys would know he's very well educated. And he says, so what happens to the Ripple versus the SEC and Coinbase cases, etc. next year? Well, I wasn't sure about the nuts and bolts of all of this once I listened to a great space by this guy right here, John Reed Stark, today, and most likely the scenario is, number one, Gensler steps down before the January 20th. So that's when former President Trump at noon will become the next president of the United States. Joe Biden right now is still currently the president of the United States and will be president until January 20th of 2025 at noon, and then that's when they have the peaceful transition of power. The new head or interim head sends out marching orders that all non-fraud crypto cases need to be disposed of. Number three, litigation teams look at each case and recommends to either settle or dismiss each and brings their recommendations to the commissioners who will then vote yay or nay. There will now be 3 representative appointments, so it will be a yay. My thoughts on specific actions. The Ripple case or any case with a ruling will be settled for the judgment amount of $125 million. It would be awkward to settle for less than what it was already awarded by a court. Number 5, the Coinbase and other cases in litigation will simply be dismissed. Number 6, this will take some time, not January, but perhaps before summer. That's my call, and I'm sticking to it. Completely agree with it. And if you guys want to, you guys can listen to the space down below. Again, it'll be in the comments. And I agree with Jeremy Hogan. He has some great talking points. Now, Fed Chair Jerome Powell says he cannot legally be fired. He says not permitted under law. So if you guys don't know who he is the Fed chair, so the Federal Reserve chair. He's the one that has the FOMC meetings, and he's the one that announces as the public speaker to give interest rates a higher increase, lower increase, or for the rates to remain the same. Some Watcher Guru news. Chinese media is reporting on Donald Trump's plan to make the U.S. the world's crypto capital and establish a specific Bitcoin reserve. Obviously, if global markets are actually reporting news on this, I see this as a major positive, especially for the digital asset space. And speaking of Fed Chair Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve does cut interest rates by 25 basis points or 0.25%. So our last one in September, we saw a 50 basis points rate cut, so 0.5%, and now we're seeing a 0.25. So if you add both together at the end of this year, we would have a 0.75% rate cut. In my opinion, again, this is what another reason why global markets reacted the way that they did. and we're going to see a net positive. Fed Chair Jerome Powell says he will not resign if President-elect Trump asked him to. We just went over that, so I'm sorry I made it twice. We saw Russian President Putin says Russia is not abandoning the U.S. dollar. So we saw the BRICS nations, so Brazil, Russia, India, China, Saudi Arabia. They all represent the BRICS nations. They all wanted to abandon the U.S. dollar. Putin just came out after this and said, we're not going to abandon it now. Former President Trump got elected. We also saw that him come to the table and saying that Russia is prepared to end the war with Ukraine. Him, Zelensky, and Putin will probably sit down prior to the former President Trump becoming the next president. So on January 20th, we'll see them sit down prior to that, in my opinion. But I don't know if we'll see any change go until January 20th, but I see that will end officially. Bitcoin did reach an all-time high. So I believe this was yesterday. Bitcoin did reach $77,000 per cryptocurrency coin. There's a bunch of people speculating that Bitcoin's going to reach $100,000 before the end of the year. So we'll see what happens. CZ, so he is the founder of Binance and former CEO. He says as Bitcoin makes successive new all-time highs, apply prior risk management. There will be many dips and highs in the future. Make sure that you can handle them. Control your greed and don't put all your eggs in one basket. Ape slowly. And then he also says, if you can't hold, you won't be rich. Obviously, long-term, Bitcoin's done very well, was trading at like 25 cents and is currently at $76,000. So since Bitcoin's beginning to now, you have a massive increase. But again, you're not going to see those massive gains, the million X's that are going to happen with Bitcoin. Now, other cryptocurrencies might do better overall percentage-wise than Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is like the most expensive and will become a reserve if we ever have a reserve currency for the US dollar. Now, Ripple projected to reach $3 trillion in the next 5 years. Stablecoins are driving the new era of digital finance. The UAE's forward-thinking regulations for dirham backed a global stablecoin, solidifying its role as a leader in the digital economy. So Ripple is a separate entity than the XRP token. Ripple is the company. XRP is basically the finance, the money of Ripple, so they are kind of in tandem with each other. You guys can actually buy Ripple stock right now. They're in their IPO or pre-IPO right now. They could become a publicly traded company in 2025. I do see that happening, especially since former President Trump won. And then Brad Garlinghouse wanted to share one last thing. And we're going to talk about in my next video some other things that happened in cryptocurrency since my last video. But he says, I've shared some thoughts on what the Trump administration could mean for crypto and wanted to also recognize the XRP's family's patience and unwavering support. A lot has happened since XRP was the second most valuable digital asset. It's been at times a frustrating journey. 6 years since the SEC started meddling in the crypto market, picking winners and losers. 4 years since the SEC sued Ripple, and now finally we see a light at the end of the tunnel as these external, frankly unnatural and manipulative markets factors fade. The tides are shifting, headwinds are turning to tailwinds, and the opportunity for those of us who believe in the future of XRP is enormous. Completely agree with this. I thank you guys for tuning into my video, and again, we'll talk about some other things. I just had a lot going on. I've been making YouTube and TikTok shorts, but I haven't made one of these long videos in a while, so I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize for that. I have my baby right now. We are currently pregnant with our second, so we have a lot of stuff going on, doctor's appointments, and, both of us got sick. So there's a lot of things going on right now, but I'm going to be making these videos a lot sooner. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel, and I appreciate you guys, and see you on the next one. If you guys can't invest with a big dog, stay on the porch. Thank you guys, and have a good one.